In two shells there are 9 electrons altogether. In small size there are 9 electrons. Then whenever one electron is tried to added, there is a repulsion exert. A repulsion exert between already present electron and adding electron. So due to this repulsions, electron can be added of course, but cannot be added so easily. It means energy is not released more. Right? This is one important question you have studied in +1 level also. Therefore, electron gain enthalpy of fluorine is less than chlorine. It is due to two reasons. One, small atomic size, and more electron repulsions. Okay. Next. But in generally, see, if I want to say in general, this fluorine is a second period, right? Second period element. Chlorine is a third period element. So in general, the electron gain enthalpy of third period element, the electron gain enthalpy of third period element is always greater than the second period element. Okay, so this is applicable for generally p block element. Okay, so tell me, in p block element, if you take 14th group, 15th, 16th, 17th, come on, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin, lead. Next, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, Sb, bismuth. Next, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium, polonium, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. So therefore here carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, these are second period elements, right? Then it is what? Third period element. So generally down the group it should be decreases. Electron gain enthalpy down the group is decreases. Okay, that means here nitrogen to phosphorus decreases, oxygen to sulfur decreases, fluorine to chlorine decreases. But exception is in between these two period element. So if you take here 17th group element, for 17th group element, which is the most? Chlorine. The electron gain enthalpy of chlorine is more than fluorine. Then other things are same, decreases. That is bromine, iodine. Right. Similarly, here oxygen is 16th group. Oxygen greater than, sorry, sulfur greater than oxygen. Okay. Now, if you write a proper order, but oxygen gets lost. Oxygen is least here. Okay. Sulfur, then selenium, then tellurium, polonium. Okay, leave it polonium, oxygen. So remember one more exception. In 16th group, oxygen has least electron gain enthalpy even compared to selenium as well as tellurium also. Okay, this is one more exception. Next is 17, 16, 15th group. 15th group as it is, phosphorus is more. Okay, phosphorus is more, then nitrogen, then next is arsenic, next is antimony. Okay, leave it bismuth. We can write off bismuth, right, not a problem. Next, 16th, 17th, 14th, no, okay. 14th group, silicon is greater than carbon, next is germanium, next is tin, next is lead. Okay, so this is the order of electron gain enthalpies of 14th to 17th group element.
Sir, electronegativity is nothing but the attraction of
Electronegativity is different, electron gain enthalpy different. This is we are studying. No, we are studying electron gain enthalpy. So if you see electronegativity, fluorine gets more than chlorine. Then remaining things are also same. It is about electron gain enthalpy. Okay, write down one point. Have written this. Electron gain enthalpy decreases down the group written. Okay, next point, right? Electron gain enthalpy of third period element. Electron gain enthalpy of third period element is always greater than electron gain enthalpy of second period element. this is because second period elements have small atomic size and more electron repulsions. Okay, so take the order. Yeah, so this is in groups. Next is period. So how does electron gain enthalpy varies in a period? Come on, tell me. So in a period, left to right, atomic size is decreases. So when atomic size is decreases, obviously electron gain enthalpy should be increases. Okay, so here no exception, you can write it. In a period, left to right, electron gain enthalpy increases due to decrease in atomic size. Decrease in atomic size and increasing effective nuclear charge. Decrease in atomic size and increase in effective nuclear charge. Okay. Come on, tell me. Example. Let us take second period element. Shweta, what are the second period elements? Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Okay, tell me. Of course, neon also comes. Neon is a noble gas, right? What is the electron gain enthalpy? It should be increased, no? It should be increase. Increase to what? 17th group. Then what about 18th group?
Decrease.
So 18th group element having positive electron gain enthalpy, no? Okay. So because they are having stable electronic configuration. Okay. But here also you will get some exceptions. Beryllium has positive, right? Nitrogen has positive. There are some exceptions, but in generally the order is increases. Okay. It is has positive. It also has positive electron gain enthalpy. Okay. It is in period. Now next, tell me, in periodic table, which group element have maximum or more electron gain enthalpy and which group element have minimum electron gain enthalpy? Tell me. In periodic table, 17th group elements have fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So 17th group element have highest, more electron gain enthalpy. So high electron gain enthalpy,
Least noble gas.
that is halogens, no? Halogens. Then least electron gain enthalpy, no, noble gas having exceptionally positive. Some of them are having zero also. If you leave the noble gases, alkali metals. Okay. So alkali metals having least. Okay. Least in the sense they are having negative but least. What about noble gases? Is it noble gas having negative? No, they do not have negative electron gain enthalpy. They are having positive electron gain enthalpies. Okay. So along with noble gases, you need to remember beryllium, magnesium, nitrogen, but not phosphorus. Below nitrogen, phosphorus has to come, no, but not phosphorus. Okay. Phosphorus has negative value, but beryllium has positive value, magnesium positive, nitrogen positive, and noble gases positive electron gain enthalpy. Next, in periodic table, which element has highest electron gain enthalpy? Chlorine. Highest electron gain enthalpy is chlorine. Then which is having least electron gain enthalpy? Of course, cesium, not cerium, cesium. Okay. So it is about electron gain enthalpy. Right, listen. So what is electronegativity? Right, and similarly we study here what are the factors affecting on electronegativity, and next we also study here important is what are the scales to measure electronegativity. That is important question here. Okay, let's see first electronegativity. You know, this electronegativity is observed in molecule. Let us take, there are two atoms like this. In two atom, this molecule contains two atoms, atom A, atom B. The first point is electronegativity is always measured, or it's a property of the atom in a molecule. Now so far we have studied isolated, no? Ionization enthalpy we have studied in isolated atom. Electron gain enthalpy we have studied in isolated atom, but this is not isolated atom. It is where it is a property of an atom wherein molecule. Okay, therefore we have taken molecule. Important. Next point. This molecule has two atoms. One is a smaller atom A, larger atom B. Tell me, both are bonded by, let us consider there are bond which is formed by two electron. Now tell me, among atom A, atom B, which atom has more tendency to attract these shared electron or bonded electron? Atom A. Why? So atom A has more tendency to attract the shared pair of electron or bond pair of electron towards its side. This property is called electronegativity. Then how do you define electronegativity? The tendency of an atom in molecule, it should be in molecule, important. The tendency of an atom in molecule to attract the bond pair, nothing but shared pair of electron towards its side, is called electronegativity. Right? So therefore the tendency of an atom, right on, the tendency of an atom to attract bonded, nothing but shared pair of electron towards itself, towards its side, called electronegativity. Right. So this electronegativity is what? It is the tendency of an atom to attract electron, right? It is just attract the electron. Come on. So therefore, next point, it is a tendency of an atom to attract the electron. So now this property is what? It is a property of the atom in molecule, isn't it? It should be in molecule, right? Next point, it is the property of atom. It is the property of an atom in molecule. In molecule only, not isolated. Okay, next, one more important point is electronegativity is a relative value. It is a comparative value. How? We are taking atom A, atom B. Atom smaller size, atom B is larger size. Tell me, in between atom A, atom B, atom A is attracting electron towards its side. Atom A attracting more compared to B. That means it is what? It is a comparison value. This electronegativity of atom A is more than B. We say like this, no? Or electronegativity of B is less than A. That means, so electronegativity is a comparison value or it is a relative value, right? Yeah, wherever we get comparison relative value, it has no unit. This was a CT question. Which of the following has no unit? Electronegativity. It has no units. It is not like kilocalories, not like electron volt. Earlier we have studied kilojoules per mole, but it has no unit because it is a comparison value. How it is comparison value? It is A is attracting more compared to B. That's it, no? Or B is attracting less compared to A. That's what atom, the electrons of AB, so slightly moving towards A. It is not completely breaking. It is just slightly moving towards A. Therefore, this A gets partial negative, B gets partial positive. So this property is a electronegativity. So that means electronegativity is a relative value. Electronegativity is a relative value or comparison value. Hence it has no units. Okay. Okay. Next is factors affecting on electronegativity. It is important. This concept even important for organic chemistry. Listen carefully. Factors affecting on electronegativity. The first factor is atomic size. So we have been studying about atomic size, right? Next, second is tell me, shielding. Okay, shielding effect. Nuclear charge. Okay. All right, nothing but Z affect nuclear charge. Nuclear charge. Next, fourth one is positive and important negative charge. And fifth one, oxidation state or oxidation number. Next, sixth one, hybridization and percentage of S character. Right, so electronegativity depends on all these factors. Now come on, tell me. The first one is atomic size. Just now we have studied there are two atoms, atom A, atom B. Okay, right, in between atom A, atom B there is a bond. Come on, tell me, among atom A, atom B, which can attract electron towards its side easily? Atom A. It's just like electron gain enthalpy. So atom A has smaller in size. Due to smaller in size, this nucleus force of attraction on valence shell is more. Therefore, atom A try to attract more strongly compared to atom B. That means smaller atom has more electronegativity, larger atom has less electronegativity. Therefore, when you see atomic size, then what is the relation between atomic size and electronegativity? It is again. So electronegativity is inversely proportional to atomic size, right? It means larger atoms have more, lesser and smaller atom has more electronegativity. Okay. So if you remember this one formula, no, everything you understand easily. Next, yeah, see this shielding effect first. And tell me, what about shielding effect? No, sorry, nuclear charge. Tell me, we know effective nuclear charge. Effective nuclear charge, when effective nuclear charge increases, tell me, A plus 2, A plus 3. When the positive charge increases, nuclear charge increases. When nuclear charge increases, it can take the tendency of ion to attract electron increases, isn't it? So here among A plus 2, A plus 3, which ion can attract electron so easily? A plus 3. It means more effective nuclear charge, more electronegativity. So therefore Z effective is directly proportional to electronegativity, or electronegativity directly proportional to Z effective nuclear charge. Next, third one, shielding effect. So we have studied that shielding effect is directly proportional to atomic size. When the shielding effect increases, atomic size increases. Then tell me, so shielding effect is directly proportional to atomic size, but we know that atomic size is inversely proportional to what? Electronegativity. You understand? Shielding effect is directly proportional to atomic size, but atomic size is inversely proportional to electronegativity. Therefore, tell me, electronegativity is inversely proportional to shielding effect. Next, yeah, fourth factor is 4, 5, 6. These three are important. Fourth one is positive and negative charge. Come on, tell me. Do you know? Just now we have seen +1, +2, +3. Which can attract electron more easily? +3, because effective nuclear charge is increases. So therefore, as the positive charge increases, electronegativity increases. As negative charge increases, electronegativity decreases. Therefore, how do you write electronegativity relation? It is directly proportional to positive charge.
And inversely proportional to negative charge.
Yes, inversely proportional to negative charge. Okay, here I wanted to give one two questions. Question is like this. Now, which of the following has highest electronegativity? Question is, take down, which of the following has highest electronegativity? Okay. First option is O plus, O plus 2. Take here is O minus.
O plus 2.
Why?
Because it has more Z effect.
Yes, you know, usually oxygen has high electronegativity, no doubt. Oxygen. Do you know what is the order of electronegativity? Which element has highest?
Fluorine is greater than oxygen.
Fluorine greater than oxygen, which is greater than nitrogen, which is approximately equal to chlorine. Right. This is the order you need to remember and important. So therefore, fluorine has highest electronegativity and oxygen has, you know, second highest electronegativity. Right. So oxygen is the element which is having second highest. So therefore, of course, oxygen has more electronegativity. If you take the value also, it is a 4.0, it is a 3.5, okay, it is a 3.0, it is 3.0, okay. Then tell me, so oxygen has, it is a 3.5 electron, not electron, sorry, 3.5, no units, 3.5. Then what about O plus, O plus 2, O minus? This O plus is more than 3.5. O plus 2 is still more than this O plus, right? Then O minus is less than. Yes, it means as the positive charge increases, so the ion electron taking tendency is increases tremendously. Okay, so important, because you know we will get in organic chemistry this, because electronegativity related to acidic nature. Electronegativity is related to acidic nature, we study later in organic chemistry. Therefore, if electronegativity is increases, its acidic nature also increases. In that way, acidic nature, basic nature, we have comparison with this electronegativity, we will study later. Okay? Yes. Next, fifth factor is oxidation number. Now, how does oxidation number related to electronegativity? It is just we have written now positive charge. This positive charge is nothing but Yes, oxidation number. Therefore, electronegativity is directly proportional to oxidation number. For example, let us take Fe plus 2, Fe plus 3. It is a plus 2, it is plus 3. Which one has more electronegativity? Obviously, plus 3. Next, Sn plus 2, Sn plus 4. Which one has more? Sn plus 4. So therefore, it is a plus 2, it is plus 4. As the oxidation number is increases, electronegativity is increases. Next, last factor is hybridization and S character. Hybridization and percentage of S character. Come on, tell me.
If S character increases,
You know, hybridization, let us take carbon, take 3 carbon, sp3 carbon, right? It is sp2 carbon, sp carbon.
sp carbon has more
You know, sp3 carbon has, what is the percentage of S character?
or 25%.
It is 25, no? 25% S character, 75 percentage
Yeah, P character.
P, no? P character. Then, if you take sp3,
0.33.
do you know how to calculate?
Yes, sir.
Percentage of, see, if you want to calculate percentage of S here, percentage of S is equals to, tell me how many parts of S here?
One.
S is 1, it is, S is 1, P is 3, therefore 1 part, divided by, total parts are 1 plus 3, 4 parts into 100. It's calculation of percentage character. Okay, we'll get 25, 75. Similarly, sp2, in sp2,
0.33.
percentage of character is equals to S is 1 part, P is 2, total is 3 into 100. It means you'll get approximately
33.33.
33.33 percentage S character. Now here is
50%.
percentage character is 50. Okay. So therefore now tell me the percentage of S character varies with hybridization. Okay. So here is 25, 33.33, it is 50%. Then as the percentage of S character increases, electronegativity increases. Therefore there is one statement, percentage of S character are nothing but electronegativity is directly proportional to percentage of S character, not P character, it is only S character. S character. Right? So therefore, now tell me sp3 carbon, sp2 carbon, sp carbon, what is the order of electronegativity?
Sp is greater than sp2 is greater than sp3.
Right? Carbon sp3, carbon sp2, carbon sp. Which has more electronegativity? Sp carbon has more, then sp2, then sp3. For example, let us take methane, next is ethene, next is ethine. So it is, yeah, it is alkane, alkene, alkyne. We know in alkane it is sp3, right? Alkene it is sp2, in alkyne it is sp hybridization. So therefore, where the S character is more? sp, then sp2, then sp3. Therefore, what is the order of electronegativity? So sp is more than sp2, more than sp3. Then what is the importance of electronegativity? So if you want to go little higher level, this electronegativity is directly proportional to acidic nature. Okay, we will study later in detail. I want to discuss 2-3 questions here. So therefore here, you just remember electronegativity directly proportional to acidic nature. Okay, now I want to compare acidic nature of methane, ethene, and it is a ethine. Tell me, among this, which is more acidic? Ethine is more acidic. It means ethine can produce proton easily, right? So order of acidic strength. CH triple bond CH is more acidic than CH triple bond CH2 then
more acidic than
CH4. Okay, so alkyne is more acidic. Do you know alkyne is more acidic means which can release proton easily, no?
Yes, sir.
Right? So this is more acidic. Which is least acidic? It is less acidic. But you also studied that more acidic means it can produce proton easily. Let us take CH triple bond CH, which can release proton. CH triple bond C, it is minus, it is a plus. Right, this is a acid, no? Acid. Right, now acid, do you know acid always produce conjugate base? This is a conjugate base, no? Do you remember acid base concept? So acid always produce conjugate base. Acid is it is called acetylene, CH triple bond CH, and which release proton to form conjugate base. Now question is, similarly take methane. Methane also take acid, it produces CH3 negative H plus. Okay, it is a acid, it is a conjugate base. But now question is, strong acid always produce weak conjugate base, weak acid produces strong conjugate base. Do you remember? So strong acid produce weak conjugate base. It's opposite. Right, strong acid produce weak conjugate base, weak acid produce weak acid produce strong conjugate base. Okay, now there was question appeared in previously JE based on this concept. Now come and tell me. Now I have taken both are acids. It is alkyne, it is alkane. But among alkyne, alkane, which are stronger acid? Comparatively, it is a strong acid, no? Alkyne. Alkynes are strong acid, alkanes are weak acid, WA. Then it is a strong acid. Strong acid always produce weak conjugate base. This is a weak conjugate base. The question is, which of the following is a weak base? They asked. They have given this option, this option, this option, this option, another option given. So therefore, now tell me, it is a methane. Which acid it is? Weak acid. This weak acid gives strong conjugate base. Right? So this is based on electronegativity. Right, one question. One question. Which of the following is a strong conjugate base? Which of the following is a strong conjugate base? Even they may ask just base also. Need not to say strong conjugate base. You can say just base it is. Okay, I want here strong conjugate base. A CH3 minus B CH2 double bond CH minus C CH triple bond C minus D none. Right. So which is a strong conjugate base? Right. Strong conjugate base. Tell me. Strong conjugate base must be formed from
Weak acid.
weak acid. Base always from acid, no? So strong conjugate base must be formed from weak acid. What is a weak acid? Weak acid is nothing but less electronegativity. Yes. Yeah. Less electronegativity. Which one has less electronegativity? It is sp3, right? It is sp2, right? It is sp. So sp3 has less electronegativity because S character is less. Right? So in this way you can identify the options. Okay. One more question. Among water and ammonia. Let us check among water and ammonia, which is more acidic? You tell me based on electronegativity. Among water and ammonia, which is more acidic? Water. Why? In water, oxygen attached to 2 hydrogen, it is sp3, right? Hybridization. And oxygen has more electron, no? Next, what about nitrogen? It is attached to 3 hydrogen. This nitrogen also sp3. Okay. So both are having same hybridization, but whose En is more? Oxygen En is more, right? So more electronegativity, more acidic. Okay. Next, one more question. Among H2O, H3O plus, tell me which is more acidic? Which is more acidic? Among water and H3O, among water and hydronium ion, which is more acidic? Hydronium ion, no. Why? See, both are sp3. It is also sp3. It is also sp3. But as the positive charge is increases, electronegativity increases. Therefore, more acidic. Next, similarly, let us take among ammonia and NH2 minus, which is more acidic?
NH3.
Among ammonia and ammonium ion, which is more acidic? Okay, we got it now.